Hey there guys, Mr. Short Hitter here.
You don't look like a short hitter to me.
Today's video, I'm going to talk a little bit about learning from my mistakes. The last tournament I played, I made some what I think are pretty bonehead plays, and I want you to learn from those. And if I have time today, it's in the evening, I'll also talk about what I did right. So let's start out on the first hole, and this is the tournament course. It's like 208 to that bunker on the right. There's no wind today, so I'll go ahead and hit the mini driver. There's water left, but we want to air a little bit towards the right, away from that water. Okay, that was a pretty darn good mini driver. Let's see if it was the play. The edge of the bunker is right here. So under these conditions, if you're trying to lay up short of the bunker, mini driver is not the right play. Now, my first mistake was on day one, I hit a high wood, and I'll show you where that high wood ended up. It was into the wind, and mini driver probably would have been the appropriate play. Day two, I hit driver and ended up just short of this bunker. So I probably could have got away with hitting mini driver on day one and day two. Using my cart to block the sun here, guys. So 120, which is a lot closer than I had either day. But 120, it's a front pin and you're putting this bunker in play. I'd be more than happy to come into this hole from about 150, especially if it's a back pin. Wow, it's a long way. It's 26 yards between this bunker and the bunker on the other side. Unless you can carry these bunkers, it just may not be worth it. When you deal with fairway bunkers, sometimes you get a lip, and in this bunker, I'm near the front, I probably can't even get to the green. Whereas if I just lay back another 25 yards, come into this green from 175 versus trying to get to 140, then I'm going to have a shot, at least at the green, to where at worst case I can get it into one of those greenside bunkers. But here, you have to take some loft just to get it over the lip. This is a lot better than the shot in the tournament, which was one of my worst holes. When you're in doubt, always play the conservative shot. If you don't play the conservative shot, then you definitely have to commit to what you're doing, and it's harder to commit to an aggressive shot. So for instance, on this hole, on day two, pin was tucked left over the bunker. It was 118. The wind was helping just a tad. And instead of me just taking a 9-iron and just swinging it and hitting it 20, 25 feet past the flag, I tried to take something off of the 9-iron and just mishit it just enough for it to catch that top lip and roll back into the bunker. I hit a good bunker shot to about 5 feet, but I still made bogey. But if I would have just hit a full out 9-iron, because that's the conservative thing to do in that position, get it past that bunker, I would have been 2-putting from 20 feet. Here it's 122, and I'll hit that same 9-iron. That's pretty solid. It's fading a little towards the flag, and that's short of the flag. So guys, unfortunately, sometimes wind plays with our mind and makes us a little less decisive. For instance, here, I had a shot that was over that right bunker, And from here to the flag now, I'm at 180. But to carry that right bunker to go at the pin was a shot of 180 yards. So I was indecisive. I wasn't sure about whether that bunker was a good spot or a bad spot to hit in. And I took a high wood and went at it anyway, where I should have aimed left, closer to where the flag is right now. And that way, if I push it right, I'll still be in the grass and not have to worry about whether that's a good bunker or not. The key there is to stick with what you do best. Rely on your strengths and stick to your MO, especially when you have some long shots from the fairway on unfamiliar courses. So one thing I did really well is I stayed positive on the greens. The hole before this, a par 5, I missed a putt for par. I came to this hole, had a putt about in this area to that tee, and I did not lose confidence. I stayed positive, made a pretty good putt, and actually made my first birdie of the tournament here. Now, another thing I did really well is I didn't get enticed into playing heroic shots. On this hole, the pin is on the left side of the green, but during the tournament, both days, the pin was tucked all the way on the right over all that water. And what did I do? Both days, I played it essentially where the pin is now, didn't take on any water, and just made sure I played enough club in case I did push it right. But we did not go for that sucker pin. Hit it over here on the left with plenty of club. The first, matter of fact, both days I had to hit a high wood from 173, and both days I hit it right in that same area that I just hit that shot. Another thing I did really well is erase bad shots from my memory. On this tee box, I hit the worst drive that I hit all tournament. I just blocked this right. I've got to be 20 yards right of the fairway. My worst drive of the tournament, I had 184 yards, could barely see the flag, and hit a 4 hybrid from here about 8 inches from the hole. Another hole after my worst hole of the tournament, I made a double bogey, and the next hole I hit a good iron shot to 20 feet and followed that on the following hole, 8 iron to 15 feet, and made birdie. So I erased the bad shots really well. So another thing I did really well is avoiding disaster. 36 holes, I almost escaped without a double bogey. I had 1 double bogey, but there are some tough, challenging holes on this course. This one's 430. $190, guys. So on the tournament, I parred this hole both days. I have a high wood here. That's a lot worse than I did in the tournament, guys. So another thing I did really well is I didn't quit. I played my worst hole of the tournament on the previous par 5. And the next shot, the pin was here, and I hit a really good 8 iron on this top tier about 20 feet from the hole, and followed it up with a good drive on the next hole, a good approach on the next hole with a high wood to about 20 feet. My approach on the par 5 was about 15 feet, and I made birdie, and a decent approach into 18. It's hard to not quit sometimes, especially when you know you're out of it. That double bogey essentially ended the tournament for me. I still didn't quit, and I settled for 3rd place out of 69 players, but sometimes that's the way it goes. You can always learn something, especially if you don't quit. All right, guys, I hope you're enjoying the video. I have one more hole that I played the dark, so feel free to stick around and watch that. And also check and see if you're subscribed to the channel. If you're not yet subscribed, make sure to do that.
And I will link the tournament that I'm referring to at the end of this video in case you didn't get to see my summary of that tournament. So stick around and I hope you enjoy the rest of the video.
Felt good.
To go, just play 13. Need a palm away, yeah. Gotta hit more greens.